Welcome. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we are so delighted that you've welcomed us into your home. We certainly would love to hear from you. So please send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. Well, today our guest again is going to be Gretchen Crow. Now, Gretchen is the editor-in-chief of OSV News, and she's the author of several books. The one that we're talking about today, called The Legacy of Mercy, a true story of murder and a mother's forgiveness, which is what we're talking about again today. But first, we wanted to share another episode of EWTN new series called James the Less with You. And today the episode is called The Medallion. And James discovers a gold necklace that may hold secrets from Anne Marie's past. Let's take a look.
It's James.
Stuck in a rut? Newsflash, only you can pull yourself out. Don't wait around for some comic book superhero. Be your own hero. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get to work. It's your life. It's your dream. It's your reality. Now make something of it. Your means justify your ends. Stop being a mindless follower and be your own leader. Repeat after me. I believe I am the master of my fate. I believe in my ability to execute and create. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in myself.
I mean, you keep saying this nonsense, right?
Begin and
No.
Begin and end with
Because
believe
you're
in my
alone.
ability to execute and create.
Coming at me with
Believe
this,
in my
right? You've
ability
been
to
over it and
execute
over it.
and-
Listen. Wait a second. Listen to me.
Excuse me?
What'd you do?
Oh, sorry, just thought you said something.
They stand alone. I'm Frank.
I'm the waste receptacle manager and removal engineer. James.
The university man. Advanced degree in waste removal. What school, Jimmy?
It's James. Prairieland, graduated last May.
Go Braves.
Prairielanders. It's just the Prairielanders now. We got the school to finally drop the offensive mascot.
The Prairieland Braves, just the Prairielanders now. So they removed the Indian and kept the land. Poor alma mater.
Oh, wait, you went to Prairieland?
PhD, chemical engineering.
But how did you end up?
I believed in myself.
Stop being a mindless follower and be your own leader. Repeat after me. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in...
Not a good fit for our working environment. Not really that bad. Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, mopping's not my forte.
And yet here you are. Nice to bump into you again.
Me too. I mean, you too, ma'am. Mother? Sister?
Oh, I'm not a nun. At least, not yet. Right now I'm just plain Anne Marie, full-time student.
Cool. I'm James, full-time janitor.
Do you like it?
The mop?
The job.
Oh, no. I mean, it's okay. I have a few big job interviews lined up, so this will hold me over until then.
That's good. I hope you find what you're looking for.
So you pray here often?
Every day if I can.
Do you pray for Father Lambert?
Sometimes. Why?
It's nothing. But maybe you should. I mean, it's good to pray for priests, right?
True, it's good to pray for anyone, even yourself.
Myself?
Oh, do you pray?
Oh, yeah. I pray, yeah. I mean, not always here specifically, but sometimes when the mood strikes. Yeah, I pray. Well, this is my office.
Where did you get that?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't touch that.
Where did you get it?
The toilet. I cleaned it off and all, you know, but. What's wrong? I drowned it in bleach and Clorox. I just didn't want your hand to get acid on it.
Oh, another wonderful episode, and James is certainly softening up, and the power of God is drawing him in numerous ways. To learn more and to watch the whole series, go to EWTN.com/James the Less, EWTN.com/James the Less. We're going to come back in just a bit. We'll be speaking with Gretchen Crow on The Legacy of Mercy, a true story of murder and a mother's forgiveness. We'll be right back. You're going to want to hear the rest of the story and the great forgiveness that this mother gives. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and today our guest again is Gretchen Crow, and she's the editor-in-chief at OSV News. She's the author of several books, including the one that we're sharing about today, called The Legacy of Mercy, a true story of murder and a mother's forgiveness, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And this beautiful book is available at EWTNRC.com. So during this Lenten season, you might be finding it difficult to forgive someone, believing that if you forgive them, they're going to get away with it. Or if you forgive them, they won't know how much they hurt you. That's not what forgiveness is about. And Gretchen, we want you to tell our family a meaningful summary, a little bit about the book and what we talked about yesterday, and then we're going to talk a lot about the forgiveness and the great redemption that came out of this suffering and sorrow in this mother's life.
Thank you. In May 1999, Brian Muha and his roommate Aaron Land were abducted violently and murdered. They were abducted from the Franciscan University of Steubenville off-campus housing, and they were brought to a hilltop in Pennsylvania, where they were violently murdered. And the really amazing thing is that I got to tell the story of Brian's mother, Rachel Muha. And Rachel Muha, before the body of her son was even found, forgave the two young men who had murdered him. And it's an incredible story of forgiveness, of love, of what happens when you open your heart up to God's mercy.
Share with us further. Obviously, Rachel is a beacon of light, of forgiveness, of mercy. And you said in the earlier show, she just considers herself a regular person, Christian person, Catholic person, and this was placed upon her like the Simon of Cyrene, and somehow God's pulled all this good stuff, out of her. And not only her being a beacon of forgiveness, but the impact of that light upon other people.
Yeah. So Rachel, as I said yesterday, Rachel would not consider herself anything special, but it's what she chose to do versus what so many other people would choose to do in facing the reality of the murder of their son that really makes her a remarkable witness and example of Christian love. She chose to forgive, and she is very clear that forgiveness is an act of the will. It's a decision that you make every day, and that there are ways that you go about being able to succeed in forgiveness. You don't just say, "I'm going to forgive," and you're fine, you're suddenly healed, everything is joyful in your life, and you go on your way. No, she chose to forgive the two young men who murdered her son, but she still experienced incredible grief, incredible anger, and had to keep all of that in check so that she could do what she knew she needed to do, which was be an example to her other son, Chris, and to her other members of her family and her friends and the Franciscan community that was gathered to pray for the two young men of their community who'd been murdered. She knew that she had to lead the way. She had to choose to forgive so that other people would choose to forgive and not choose to follow the path of anger, which we know that will lead you nowhere good. Forgiveness will lead you to the Lord.
Well, you share so beautifully in the book about her choice to forgive. And then she wrote about the 9 steps of the tips that she did about forgiveness. And because, there's still that chatter in our flesh. Don't let them off. Hate them. Look what they did. Or how could you, right? And this is all that our flesh and the devil would like to come in then and have an inroad into our soul to then destroy us too, and to destroy the light of Christ inside of us. And so share with our family about those 9 steps that she intentionally wrote about and then lived out before everyone who was watching.
It begins with prayer. It begins and it ends with prayer. I think what she would say. Yes. You have to pray. You have to have a closeness to the Lord. You have to be able to say, "No, Lord, it is your will that I want to do, not my will to give into the anger and the hurt and the fury. It's your will I want to do." So you have to pray to be able to be in that mindset. You have to prepare yourself for more bad news. She says that when there's a little bit of bad news comes your way, chances are there's going to be more of it coming. So you need to get yourself into a mental state where you're going to be ready to receive that in a way that you can then reflect the Lord back to those who are around you. She says you have to find the right prayer to pray. She's very specific about that. Pick a prayer that you're going to say regularly, something that's going to have meaning to you. She said, if you're in a situation where you have to forgive and do it immediately. Yes. You have to pray for the people who are perpetrating the crime or the hurt against you. You have to pray for them. As you were mentioning, Joy, you can't excuse bad behavior. There is a sense of justice that comes along with mercy, and she's very, very keen on that. And she believes strongly in that it's not an excuse to be able to forgive somebody. You still have to pay for what you've done. And she's very, very clear on that. She also says you have to be alert to the devil, because when you are choosing to do God's will in your life, guess who's going to come after you? Mm-hmm. And so there's always going to be that alertness, that awareness of the devil trying to creep into your life. And then finally, she says you have to turn your grief into giving. give of yourself. And that's what's going to turn your frame of mind around so that you'll be thinking about other people rather than thinking about your own misfortunes.
Gretchen, they're great tips that Rachel gives, and you said them so well. I just followed. I don't know how you did it, but you wrote the book, I guess, here. She's lived it, but you wrote it, so you got every one of those 9. I felt like we were putting you on the spot. You didn't miss a one. And this is why we want you to get the book, Legacy of Mercy, A True Story of Murder and a Mother's Forgiveness, just for those tips alone, that this mother who's forgiven the killers of her beloved son. You want to hear it from somebody like that. Let's speak a little bit about the grief, though, because you have a good section in there, and she's so honest about, yes, I have forgiven. I choose to forgive. But it doesn't mean that there isn't post-traumatic stress in your life. It doesn't mean that we're all going to move through stages of grief at the same pace. So just because you say, I have forgiven them, why do I feel this way? Or why am I so concerned about my other son? I think it said in the book there that the other son wanted to go back to school, and I don't know what the wording was, but she was like, you have to call me every day, and if we don't connect, I just want you to know I'm coming out, I'm looking for you. And then she went to the cemetery every day. So just speak to us about the difference between forgiveness and grief, and they're both part of the process.
Yes, that's right. Well, exactly. Forgiveness does not mean that you're suddenly healed from all hurt. And her wounds were deep then. They continue to be deep and painful. She was emotional when we were doing our interviews for this book. She wanted this book to come out so that she could speak less about it because it was very painful, and it's very painful to speak about this regularly. She spent that summer of 1999 back in the suburb of Columbus, Westerville, where she lives, and with her older son, Chris. And they would go to mass together. They would kind of sit quietly together. They would speak. They would be able to share memories of Brian. She planted flowers. I mean, she said there were flowers everywhere. She had to get out and dig in the yard. She had to do something with her hands. She visited the cemetery. And yes, and when the time eventually came for Chris to go back to Franciscan, he had kind of been avoiding talking about it. She'd kind of been avoiding talking about it. And the time came, and he said, Mom, I'd like to go back to school. And she said, all right, but we're talking every day. And if we don't connect, I'm coming after you. I mean, that's just the reality of a mother who has just lost a child and who is not going to lose another. And so she's very clear about that. And then she took her grief again. She started the Brian Muha Foundation to be able to raise money for scholarships for people to attend the high school that Brian and Chris attended, to scholarships to be able to alleviate some of the burden of the cost for Franciscan. And she turned her grief into giving, right? Yes. That tip that she gives, she lived it. That's what makes her such an authority on this. She lived it. She knows what that means to focus on others rather to focus on yourself. Something really remarkable is she took the house where Brian and Aaron were abducted from, that off-campus house. She bought it. It wasn't even for sale. She went to the owner of the house and said, look, I am one of the mothers. And he said, I'll sell it to you. You can have it. You can have it. She bought the house, and she rented out a portion of it, but a portion of it is used for people who can't afford tuition at the university to come and stay and have an affordable place to live, particularly for clergy. And so, she said, you don't have to pay me anything at the beginning. She said to 2 priests who wanted to stay there, you don't have to pay me anything, but please celebrate Mass for Brian and for Aaron. That was her payment.
Amazing story of redemption. I think it's a Pentecostal hymn. I'm going to take back what the devil stole from me. She's not going to get her son back, although she's in union with the son. She's taking back that community.
Too.
She's taking back what might, she wants to change lives for other people, like those guys that killed her son. She's reaching out to the kids in the community like that to say, know God, here's opportunity, here's real community, here's a future for you, and giving it to them, laying it before them. They have to choose that future. We're going to hold you over for the final segment. We'll be right back. Please don't go away. back. Gretchen, it's great to be with you for these few minutes. And before we get into all that has prospered as a result of Rachel's prayers and giving opportunity to young people in that community, I did want to mention, I found in the book her sharing eyeball to eyeball, I guess, with those men, those young guys who killed her son, and some of the things she said to them. And in one of the sharings, she brings up Maria Goretti and Alessandro Serenelli, who killed her, and Maria Goretti's mother, I guess is Assunta, and the story of forgiveness. She's sharing this story of the saint with them, and she shares about hell, and she shares about heaven, and she doesn't spare anything regarding the truth, but there's such compassion still there and a commitment. Can you just say a few words about that?
I think it's really important to say that Rachel very much wants only to bring the Lord to Terrell and Nathan.
Amen.
If there's one thing that she could wish for, it would be for their conversion. And that is what she made very clear to them in these victim statements, that she had the opportunity to talk to them face to face at their trials and tell them how it is. She spoke truth to them in a way that I don't think they had probably never heard that stuff before in their lives. They never would again. She had these few minutes to talk to them about heaven, about hell, what was going to happen to them if they would not repent. And she just told them how it was. God bless her.
Yeah. I mean, and when she told that story, I mean, she's saying, my son would have given you anything. My son would be praying for your forgiveness, just like Maria Goretti was praying for the forgiveness of Alessandro. Don't do this, you might go to hell. You need to understand this, but you need to choose heaven. You need to choose this way. And this guy, Alessandro, did choose that way, reconciled with the mother, and all these things can happen for you if you choose life, if you choose this way. Share with us in the last couple of minutes we have again, kind of what's springing forth from her works again. You mentioned the Run the Race Center and all these other opportunities, and it's like it's not enough she forgave, but she desires to save souls.
That's right. I mean, she's giving, right? And she gives to this day. So about in 2005, she just said, there's so many people out there who are like Terrell and Nathan, are young, who were not shown God's love, who were not shown the basic decency of life. And she said, what would Brian do about that? And what should I do about that? She needed to act. And so she decided in 2005 that she was going to start an after-school program. She had, for inner city students, she had one person show up to the first event, and that one person proceeded to say, you know what, you really should do this, 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 and this. And she said, you know what, we're going to do what she's advising us, because the Lord says, let the children come to me, and the children will bring other children in. And so she began this Run the Race Center, an after-school program that has grown over the years, welcoming young people, giving them a safe place to do their homework, to have activities, to be in fellowship with one another, community, a place where they could have a mother's love. Yes. Right? In a way that she was no longer able to love her youngest son. Yes. She spread that love to the rest of this inner city community in Columbus.
And she was really believing that a greater good was going to come out of this horrific evil, and that Satan was not going to have the last word, that she wants God's redemption and restoration to always win, and that death isn't the end. And so for these boys that she cried out to, that they too, to this day, we pray for the salvation of their own souls.
Gretchen, thank you so very much for making people like us aware, who are not aware of this story and the true legacy, a legacy of mercy, especially during the season of Lent, moving into the resurrection, that the Lord not only wants to forgive us, he wants to transform our lives. And that's really a big part of this message. Thank you so very, very much. And God bless you. God bless all of your loved ones with us today. You're an important part of this family. You're never alone. You're always at home with Jim and Joy. May we all leave a legacy of mercy. Bye now.